The Smith Wesson Bodyguard pistols have been around for quite a few years. Whether you're looking at the original Bodyguard 380, the M&P Bodyguard 380, or the Bodyguard 2.0, all of these are slim, small, concealed carry pistols that feature 380 ACP ammo. This is my M&P Bodyguard 380, and I've had this for several years. I've done quite a few videos on it, tested it with all different kinds of ammo, and I like this gun because it is about the smallest one that I can purchase. It fits in the palm of my hand, slips easily into a pocket or into a waistband, and my particular one has been very reliable and accurate. I shoot it really well. Recently, Smith & Wesson came out with the Bodyguard 2.0, which has a lot of improvements over the original Bodyguard 380. It has an easier takedown function because this one is striker fired instead of being double action only hammer fired. The trigger is much better, and just in general, the additional little half an inch of size that it has on it and a little bit longer barrel lends itself to a much more controllable gun. But did you know that the original Bodyguard actually started a long time ago, all the way back in 1955, when Smith & Wesson came out with the Model 38 Bodyguard? Now, the Model 38 was based on the Centennial model, which was the internal hammer-fired gun, kind of like the 642 or the 442 of today, but people wanted to have an external hammer to get more accurate shots. And Smith & Wesson came out with this Model 38 Airweight in 1955, and it's affectionately called the Humpback, as you can see why. This was an alloy frame pistol with a steel barrel and cylinder. Now, if you wanted something that was a little bit more rugged and a little bit heavier, you could go with a Model 49 pistol, which was the same thing as the Model 38, except this is an all-steel frame with a steel cylinder and a steel barrel. I've had this one for several months now, and these rarely show up in stores. I think when I bought this one, I paid around $500 for it. Might have been a little bit more than that, but that's pretty low price for what this is. Like I've said, these rarely show up in stores. And it seems to be harder and harder to find good deals on J-frames. Just about a year and a half ago, these guns were selling for $700, $800, $900, even $1,000. And for me to find one for half of that really made me happy when I purchased this. So I really do like this model, being that it's blued, having the original grips and everything. And then beyond that, you have the Model 649, which is the stainless steel model, which again is an all-steel frame with a steel cylinder and a steel barrel. This one I've had for a couple of years. I think I paid $650 for this one when I bought it. And again, even though this one's not a pinned barrel model, this is a more modern one. This is a very, very nice example of a 649. It has excellent finish on it. And it's a very smooth action, still has that hammer-fired firing pin, but again, it is a non-pin barrel. But again, these back in the day were actually called the Bodyguard pistols long before Smith & Wesson ever came out with the Bodyguard 380. And I think a lot of people don't really know that. Another version of this that's out there today is the Model 638, which again is an alloy frame with a steel cylinder and steel barrel. These can be had just about anywhere. They're still around $500 brand new. I don't have one, but if the opportunity ever presents itself, I may get one. This is another version of the Bodyguard that's in the Smith & Wesson lineup, and this is a current model, the M&P Bodyguard 38. This is a less conventional Smith & Wesson revolver. This uses a polymer lower frame with a steel cylinder and steel barrel. I'm not too fond of these. They're very unconventional in how they open with that top latch release. And I think these were actually made to compete against the Ruger LCR. But honestly, the LCR has much better of a trigger, so I don't think I'll ever buy one of these. I think in my Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0 video, I alluded to the fact that there was actually a Bodyguard 380 1.0, which came out before the M&P Bodyguard 380, and that's what you're looking at here. They were originally sold with or without an insight laser, and the insight lasers really weren't that good. They had a tendency to skew their shape over time, and when I had mine, Smith & Wesson actually sent me a free Crimson Trace laser to put in it. I had that gun for a few years. I really liked it, but I think I ended up trading it in towards my Ruger SP101. And later on, I went back and found the M&P Bodyguard 380, which takes more of its styling cues from the M&P Shield and full-size M&P line. So whatever flavor you like, whether it's semi-auto or revolvers. There have been various different versions of the Bodyguard that have been released from Smith and Wesson going all the way back to 1955. And I do like that they keep this name alive. It just basically means it's a comfort to have a small gun with you, something that can back you up when your back's against the wall, kind of like if you had an actual bodyguard. Now, a lot of people will say that 38 Special or 380 are underpowered, and in today's world of micro nines and things like that, why would you ever carry one? I'll take something from Paul Harrell again. The gun that you have in your pocket that you know works is a lot better than the bigger gun that you left at home and never carry. Program compliance of having a gun with you at all times when you need it is much more important than what anybody thinks about which caliber is more important or better than the previous one. What's most important is having a gun when you need it and knowing how to use it. So thanks again for stopping in with another edition of Cranky Gun Reviews, and thanks for following me down this historical lane of Smith & Wesson Bodyguard pistols, again tracing their lineage all the way back to 1955. This has been a really fun video for me. I've been looking for these humpback shrouded hammer models for years, and I'm glad I finally have some that I can put on the channel. Thanks for watching. Make sure you support your two-way rights. Get out there and shoot. And you remember, if someone asks you to give up some of your freedom for the greater good, remind them that freedom is always the greater good.